I think when it comes to where we are and whether the next leader of the party and the Prime Minister should call an election or not will be very much context dependent. If we are in a full-blown trade dispute with the United States, where does that leader and our government's energy need to be? Does it need to be on standing up and defending Canadian jobs and our economy, or does it need to be in an election? I think we're going to have to figure out where we are on March 9th.
Okay, Karina Gould, that's her. She, of course, is one of the people seeking the leadership of the Federal Liberal Party to succeed Justin Trudeau. David Heurtel, want to get a comment on this? David is our feature today, brought to you by Guaranteed Industries, reminding you that they've been serving Montrealers since 1957. They get you covered right through the winter, and of course, keep you cool in summer too. And now with Canair climate control systems available. So give them a call, 514-342-3400, or go online, guaranteedindustries.com. David, I had Karina Gould in the studio about a week and a half, I guess, ago. I like what she had to say. What do you make of what you just said now?
Well, there are a few issues. One, according to pretty much everybody who is handicapping the federal Liberal race for leader, she is a long shot. So that's one. Mark Carney seems to be comfortably ahead, and in second place, Chrystia Freeland, and she is a very distant third. Two, the reality is that the new leader, while becoming automatically Prime Minister of Canada, his or her future is not dependent on his or her own will. It will depend on the three opposition parties, right. And there will be a confidence vote, as you know very well, right away with this new Prime Minister. And right after the throne speech, there's going to be a confidence vote. And right now, as things stand, all three opposition parties, and Jagmeet Singh seems to have come back into that fold. But who knows? He could change his mind 27 times by then. But this new government will not survive very long. So, okay, I know what she's trying to set up is saying, okay, we have to be united, we have to show a united front. But actually, this could be to Mark Carney's advantage if he becomes leader and he is perceived as an outsider, and if these interesting poll numbers that we've seen, and we talked about this on Monday, that show that a Mark Carney-led Liberal Party could fare much better than Justin Trudeau ever could. Now, I'm not saying, obviously, we're in territory where he could threaten Poilievre, but if Poilievre keeps doing what, we've been talking about this for a long time, Aaron, these repetitive sound bites are starting to make him look like a one-trick pony. And he doesn't seem to be able to adapt his language to the reality of the Trump threats. And it'll be very interesting to see if Poilievre can show that he can connect with the fears and the very well-founded fears of Canadians across the country of what's going to happen. We've already been beaten up economically for the past several years. Now, tariffs coming in play, even the uncertainty of tariffs, we'll see on February 1st and beyond what really happens. But all of this, the uncertainty, you're not seeing a whole lot of leadership and any type of concrete support or help, or what would Pierre Poilievre do if he were Prime Minister of Canada. And so that also is going to be an issue that a new Liberal leader might want to exploit by going to the polls right away.
I wonder, though, if, and I don't know how this works. So Parliament is prorogued now till the end of March.
Yeah.
If Trump goes ahead with these tariffs, and I've heard, we were talking about this, I think, just the other day, the idea of rolling out benefits for Canadians who might, be hurt by this, how could you do that if Parliament was not back in session?
Well, that's a very, very good question, and if you need to bring back Parliament, well, that's the end of prorogation, and so I would suppose that Justin Trudeau and his government would negotiate something with Jagmeet Singh, and to ensure passage of whatever needs to be passed. And then could actually try to go back to prorogation. It's very interesting how they can play this. If there's something that needs to be passed by the Commons, there's quite a problem here, because prorogation basically ends the last Parliament. So if we bring in the new Parliament, that means a new throne speech. That means the whole thing starts again. Prorogation wipes the slate clean. And so you have to start all over again. So it's going to be very tricky if there needs to be any type of emergency legislation to be passed. What we understood is that prorogation could go until March 24th at the latest, because the supply issues, the funding of the government itself had to be looked out for. And so right now, if you have to bring back people sooner, you could have this weird, very strange situation where you pass a legislation with a lame duck prime minister, and then if there is a confidence motion, you could have a situation, this absurd situation, where you have a confidence motion passed right after with Justin Trudeau still prime minister.
We are living in very strange times. Okay, let me move on to the other story. I'm going to have Jean-François Auberge after 5:30. You know about this whole integration of immigrants bill. First of all, with respect to this, I don't this is kind of one of those things, and I ask the question, to solve a problem that doesn't exist, do you understand what the rationale is for something like this bill?
I think I do. Look, I read the bill. It's... Look, it's 28 articles. It's 12 pages long. It's basically a press release. It's a reason to do a press conference. It's deflection and changing the attention of Quebecers, trying to at least to deflect from these very difficult times Quebecers are going through. We're all seeing it. I mean, it's the economy. It's affordable housing. It's Quebec's economy is in the doldrums. Productivity is at all-time lows. You could go down the list. Healthcare, everything that is going wrong. And François Legault's comments last week on the Amazon news, where he say, well, at least the Canadians won, and I'm not drinking orange juice. And, this is, again, an example of how disconnected and incompetent on the economy this government appears to be. And so what this is basically, first of all, it's several things. One, obviously, it is trying to play, yet again, the nationalist card and trying to bring back the base. James Benny talked to you about this earlier today. But beyond that, if you need a national integration model for immigrants in the seventh year you're in power, that's an admission of the utter failure of your government trying to integrate immigration. That's an admission of failure. That's one. Two, you're going to a place, you're modifying the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You're saying that now this national integration model, and you've been playing a clip saying, well, if a group says that men and women aren't equal, well, that we're not going to take that. Well, news for you, Minister. It's already enshrined in our charters and all of our laws. You can't discriminate. And so this law does not add to anything else. What it does do, though, it gives the power to the government to withhold funding if you don't do exactly what this government wants you to do in terms of promoting French and the Quebec culture as they see it. Aaron, does that mean there's going to have to be a Gilles Vigneault float at the St. Patrick's Day parade?
I would imagine,
Does that mean there's going to have to be a poutine stand at Italfest? What is this? I mean, this is getting really out of hand, considering also that if it's about French culture, yet again, this all started, remember, Aaron, this all started with the Bedford School incident, right?
Yeah.
All of this goes back to last fall and the Bedford School incident. Tell me, how does there's anything in this bill, in this national integration model, that prevents the Bedford School incidents? This was in a public government-run school where the teachers were all citizens that were public sector employees. Tell me how a national integration model, solve this. Draw the line. Show me numbers. Show me facts. Show me how a national integration model will do anything to solve the problem of the supposed decline of French in Quebec. Yeah. Aaron, this is very serious because yet again, you have a situation where we're again scapegoating immigration, scapegoating people who are different. And the real problem right now with French culture, and the numbers are staggering. In French media over the last few weeks, I don't know if you noticed this, there's a growing number of articles saying how French Quebec culture is in decline. All the economic indicators, I mean, established cultural institutions have to cancel shows because nobody's going to see them. Consumption of Quebec French music is at an all-time low. Out of the top 50 Spotify music that is listened to in Quebec, there's only one Quebec artist, and that's at 49, and it's Charlotte Cardin, and her song is in English.
Right.
So the test scores for Francophone students in Quebec, they're failing French at all-time record numbers. And on top of that, we're cutting resources to better integrate, to teach French to immigrants, but we still have Bill 96 telling everybody you have to learn it in 6 months.
All right, David,
so it makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't, yeah.
And there's no factual basis here with this bill, and it's again deflection and deviation from the real problems that we're facing collectively right now, and we still have a labor shortage.
And that's where we'll leave it. I mean, thank you for highlighting that. I just want to make sure I thought the same thing. This idea of the Bedford School, it seems to me this all started because of that, but this is not a solution, as you just said, to address that. It has nothing to do with that I can see. So
it doesn't.
I'll bring it up.